Welcome to the knowledge sharing section organized by HCAS, Hyderabad Chartered Accountants Association. And this is the continuously conducting a weekly and a fortnightly sessions. And this session has been morely concentrating about the update, commission updates and GST and our preparedness to the tribunal and any practical scenarios and question and answers followed by. And I will thanks Mr. Sudhir for giving his time slot and trying to make himself available for this event. Thanks for everyone for actively registering to this event and understanding the importance of the way forward. Nowadays, the GST appeals is becoming very crucial, especially most of the orders are landing on the emails or a portal. Clients are missing to check those things and they are coming for appeals after the due dates. Even the continuation of delay also is going out. So now we need to see whether various alternatives of 161 rectification, is it possible or not, and going for appeal, and commission appeals are rejecting it, and how we need to take it forward. These are all practical scenarios burning in the real time. So these are all things we are going to learn in this session and how to face it, how to address it, and how make our clients more convenient. That is the objective of the taking up for this event. And I request Mr. Mastan to introduce our speaker today, Mr. Sudhir, to take it forward.
Thank you. It's now my honor to introduce our distinguished speaker for this session, CA Sudhir V, sir, a respected professional holding degrees in BCom, LLB and FCA. Sir is the lead partner at HNA and LLP, formerly known as Hyderabad and Associates LLP, a reputed indirect tax firm with 16 offices across India. Sudhir sir is a chartered accountant since 2006, holds an LLB from Osmania University, and is an alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad's Entrepreneurship Development Program. He is also an associate member of CPA Australia. His profile is rich with contributions to GST knowledge sharing. He has been a master trainer for ICI, faculty at NASIN, and regular speaker at platforms like Associated Chambers of Commerce and Industry of India, CII, FTCCI, and BITS Pilani. He has a co-authored leading books such as Practical Guide to GST on Real Estate, GST Tariff, GST Judicial Precedents. He has also played a key role in training CBIC officers and preparing GST background materials through ICI. We are truly honored to have him with us today. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to CA Sudhir sir.
Mr. Sudhir, before taking the forward, just I would like to give to the audience small instructions. Our team, Mr. Mastan and Ms. Prashanti, are available on the call to organize the meeting. Any questions or practical issues what you are trying to post to the speaker, we request to raise through a Q&A session. So it will be easy for us to track those things without fail. Point one. And if you want to talk to the speakers directly, you please raise your hand by using raise your hand emoji, and the speaker and our organizers will enable the mute, and you can unmute your microphone and you can talk to the speaker. And if still any issues are there, you can talk to directly after the meeting with the speakers. Right. And I request to join in the WhatsApp group. We'll keep a recorded session and other related materials once the meeting is over within 1 or 2 working days. And Mr. Sudhir, I request you please take it forward.
Thank you, Suresh sir. And I thank HCA for giving me this opportunity to be here and share my thoughts. So the topic which has been given to me is present and future, I can say. Present is in terms of handling the orders which has been passed before the commissioner appeals, joint commissioner appeals. And future is that the orders which has been passed by the appellate authority, first appellate authority, that would be handled before the tribunal, the upcoming GST tribunal. So we all know that GST tribunal is yet to be formed, and it is it is not very far to start operation. So the GST tribunal rules also have been come out. And I think yesterday they have also considered some corrections and amendment in the rules which has been proposed. So all I can say is that things are going at a very high speed. And we are hopeful that in this financial year, the GST tribunal would be start functioning. So there is a requirement that we all need to gear up for this new opportunity of GST tribunal practice. So I think HCA has taken this at the right time in doing this um, uh, uh, seminar, a webinar in making us prepare. So while I spend some time on future, it is also important to look at the present. So majority of my presentation is actually is more on a practical approach. I have not gone much into the provisions of the act and the rules and things like that, because that is something which is easily available and one could also read and interpret by yourself, because there is no much complication in terms of the appellate sections and the rules are concerned. So that doesn't require an in-depth analysis of the interpreting that particular provision. All that I want to add value is in terms of giving you those practical insights as to how you need to prepare your appeal paper book, the grounds, how it has to be taken, how it has to be presented, what are all the important aspects which you could look at considering when you are preferring an appeal. So these grounds and this approach will be the same for the upcoming GST tribunal also. So what I tell here is equally applicable for the appeal presentation in the tribunal also. So, in fact, if you had asked me to present only tribunal, I would have only changed the initial slide from appellate tribunal, first appellate to appellate tribunal. That is only I would have done. So, this is a common presentation, is what I can say, which I am giving. So, my idea is to give more of practical insights. So, nevertheless, you have any doubt, please use the Q&A tab. Ask your question. So, let's take the best usage of the technology available. So this is there are certain advantages and disadvantages of a webinar mode. One advantage is that whenever you get a question, you can type it. In seminar, generally we speakers try to stop you, saying that no, that is going to disturb my flow. Why don't you ask it last? By the time when it comes to last, you have forgot what that question was. But this technology will give you a good thing that whenever you get, you just put it on a Q&A, and once the session is completed, I will give sufficient time to the Q&A and answer all the questions. So I suggest that you take the best usage of this webinar. As Suresh sir has already told, this recording will be made available in WhatsApp group. So if that is the case, why 80 people of us have to put so much of time at a dedicated time and sit in front of the system now and listen to me live. So the only advantage is that as and when you get question, you will be able to get it clarified. So take that advantage. Otherwise, seeing a recorded video or live doesn't make much difference. So ask all the questions. You are free to ask whatever questions you want, but I will answer to the extent which I can answer. Okay, so with this, let me start up with taking you broadly what are the sections and the provisions which has been covered in the appellate procedure. Section 107 to 121 and Rule 108 to 116 are the sections and the rules which you should be familiar when you are looking at the appeal practice and going for the appeal. And this notification 2/2007, circular 1 and 31. These are the circulars which you should be aware. Circular 1 gives the monetary powers. 31 gives the monetary powers, and 1 notifies the proper officer for the adjudication and the appellate authority. So these are the circulars which you should be going through as a basic cursory when you start up the appeal uh, uh, practice, or you want to do an appeal. So section 107 is important. Section 107 talks about a provision of appeal where any person who has been aggrieved with the order or a decision of the under this act or the SGST or UT GST Act by an adjudicating authority. So any orders or a decision passed by an adjudicating authority, you can go to the appellate authority. So that is what is simple. So now there are certain orders which are appealable orders, certain orders which is non-appealable orders. So it is two things. One is the order. It also makes a reference for the decision. So both can be appealed. So it is not only that something which has been uh, given not as an order but as a decision which has been given. So that cannot be done as not to be taken up before the appellate authority. Like it could be the rejection of a decision to reject your rectification application. That also is an appealable decision before the appellate authority. It is not an order which has been passed, but it is a decision which has been taken by that adjudicating authority. That decision also can be challenged in the appeal jurisdiction. So except for few non-appealable orders which has been told, it is very wide that we can go for an appeal in almost every cases. So that is one. And second important, as Suresh Garu was mentioning, that the appeal needs to be filed within 3 months. It's a time-bound appeal. So time and again, whenever there was a time-barred appeals, the things have gone to High Court, Supreme Court, various forum, and consistently judiciaries are taking one view that appeal is a statutory remedy given in the statute, in your act. And the remedy which is given comes with the conditions and the rules prescribed in that particular act. So the statutory appeal, if you want to take a remedy, you need to fulfill the conditions. Those conditions includes payment of pre-deposit and also appealing within the time period. So these are the things which is very, very important. So 3 months is the period in which you need to go for appeal. 3 months from which date I'm going to come in a while, but 3 months is something which you need to consider. It is not 90 days, it is 3 months. So sometimes because of 31st being involved and all, complete 3 months was not coming if it was 90 days. Now they have taken 3 months. So you need not count the number of days. It's just 3 months. You have to count the month. So this is one thing. Now question comes up is Sudhir, I was not able to file an appeal within 3 months for whatever reason. So can I file the appeal beyond 3 months? Answer is yes. Answer is yes, subject to discretionary of the appellate authority to condone the delay. So again, the condonation of delay can be done only for a further period of 1 month. So the maximum is 3 plus 1. Within 3 months, the appellate authority doesn't have any option to reject. He has to accept your appeal. But even if there is 1 or 2 days of delay, you can file the appeal with the condonation application, and it is at the I can say the mercy or at the discretion of the appellate authority whether he should allow your appeal condoning the delay. So this is very important for us to understand that we cannot take it granted. I have seen my professional friends, professional brothers who are taking a chance of condonation, saying that anyway there is a condonation period of 1 month. I will just take 1 more week and take 5 more days extra. I don't want to do any mistake in the appeal. I will do full proof. Take another 5 days, no problem. Now, please remember that is at the discretionary of the officer. He may or may not. It is not mandatory that he should grant the condonation. So please don't take any risk from your side as a professional whenever you are being given an assignment to do an appeal. Now, if the client itself is approaching after the expiry of 3 months, then we don't have an option but to try with the condonation application. When a condonation application has to be made, it is important that each day of delay has to be explained. So you need to start the history from the date of communication of the order. What happened, every event you have to keep on telling that this date of communication was received on this date, and this was received by my accountant. The accountant was on leave, accountant was sick, or accountant did not give notice because it was 3B filing date. He did not notice this, and he brought this to the management notice only after 1.5 months, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is. Then the management contacted ABC for taking opinion on how to go forward. Then the consultant took 15 days for drafting. Then after drafting, there was some challenge in sending the papers, receiving the papers. So in all these cases, there is a delay of 2 days or 3 days. So you need to explain each day how it has been happened. Each day of delay has to be explained in your condonation application. In most of the cases, I see the condonation application will be very simple. They will say there is a condonation of 10 days. We request the appellate commissioner to kindly condone the delay. They are not at all writing the reasons. So it becomes very difficult for you to get the condonation. Second, even if you are writing a reason, because of medical reason, I was not able to do it. That will not be sufficient. You need to tell when the medical reason started, when you were hospitalized, when you were discharged, why there was a delay. Were you the only person in the entire company taking care of this appeal? So only how you becoming sick that can stop from the appellate remedy. All those things has to be detailedly given along with the proof of the medical certificate. If the MD was traveling abroad, you have to produce the passport in and out stamp with the tickets. In and out stamp is there more than sufficient. Otherwise, tickets has to be given. So it gives a conclusive thing that the appeal was ready. We were waiting for our managing director, who's authorized signatory, to come back and make the signature. So he came back, and after that we have submitted. Thereby there is a delay. So you have to give a proof for the reasons why the delay has happened. So this is very, very important. Now, even after you giving the proof, the joint commissioner appeals or the commissioner appeals is not convinced by your logic of why the delay has happened, he can still dismiss the appeal based on time bar. Now, what is the remedy? The order which has been dismissed, whatever has been dismissed, not admitting, that is again appealable before the tribunal or the High Court, as the case may be, and the tribunal or the High Court will decide whether it was a valid reason for the appellate authority not to condone the delay. So that is a remedy which has been available. Now, very important aspect what Suresh sir was saying is that many of my clients are coming after 4 months. Sudhir, 3+1, okay, understood. It is only 2% of my total case, but 98% of the delay is that not only my client, I don't want to blame the client, neither me or the client to be blamed. My client also got to know that there was an order which was been passed only when the banker told him. So there was an order which has been passed. 6 months has elapsed. 1 year has been elapsed. 1.5, 2 years has been elapsed. Now the department officer has written a letter to the department attaching the bank account. And in some cases, the bank accounts have been freezed. Some cases, the amount is also paid to the government. That when the debit has happened in the bank, then the client realizes why it has happened. He will dig, then he'll log in, then he will understand that there was an order which was given to him. So only from that day, because of that, even if I want to appeal today, it is becoming time barred. So the question arises is whether the commissioner appeals can condone the delay beyond 1 month, sorry. 3 months plus 1 month of delay. So in my case, there is a 1 year of delay. Can he condone? There is no powers given under the law to the first appellate authority to condone this delay. He doesn't have an interim powers like an High Court or something which is having inherited powers are not there as far as the commissioner appeals is concerned. He cannot do it. Can I still go for filing an appeal? The appellate commissioner say that no, you have filed within my jurisdiction to condone the delay, thereby I am not able to condone your delay, and thereby I am rejecting your appeal. On this appeal order, I want to go to the High Court. I want to go to the tribunal. Is it a right approach? Answer is no. Because when you are going for an appeal, the appellate authorities jurisdiction is very, very limited, whether there was an error done by the officer who has passed the order, whether there is any interpretational error or any other error which has been done in passing this order. So what is the error done by the commissioner? There is no error done by the commissioner because he doesn't have a power to condone. What will tribunal say? Tribunal cannot fight fault in the commissioner appeals. So that is not something which you should be looking at as a remedy. So what is that you have to happen when the condonation period has already been elapsed? The only option available to you is going to the High Court. Right? So there are certain decisions which they are told that it cannot be condoned, and we can go to the High Court. The High Court can exercise its jurisdiction under the writ powers, and they can condone the delay and send it back to the appeals for doing the passing an order, or they themselves can assume and pass the order. So that is the only remedy which is available. This is all those things is again covered in my next slides, but because it was something important and this was a starter which was given by Suresh sir, I thought I'll spend some time and explain this because this is something which is important. And I'm sure all of us as a chartered accountant, we have one or two cases 100% in this scenario which I'm talking about. So the only remedy for you to save is High Court. And if the amounts are too low, you have to pay it off and close. So I was in branch last week addressing on tribunal only. So one of the client was saying, so this has been happened and the demand is 85,000. What to do? So then I told 85,000 going to High Court. The advocate, High Court advocates it still will take more than fees than this. So neither you can take it nor you will be able to go for appeal. So thereby it is better you pay and close. So you need to make some analysis on that particular aspect. So I will come back on the communication, date of communication in a while. So as far as this concern is very clear, there has to be an order or a decision of an adjudicating authority. We will also look at who is an adjudicating authority in some cases. So that adjudicating authority, so you have to go within the period of 3 months. So that is the condition which has been there. Now let's look at what are the appealable orders. So we know that there is an order which has been passed by an officer for cancellation of your refund. So that cancellation of refund is an appealable order. Then rejection of an cancellation of registration is an appealable order. Rejection of refund is an appealable order. Then your ASMT based the assessment which is done for presumptive assessment which is done for non-filer and unregistered person. These orders are also appealable before the first appellate authority. Anyway, you have your 73 and 74. So what is an order under 73, 74? Wherever there is a demand which has been not paid or short levied, or the ITC has been erroneously availed or the refund has been erroneously granted. In all these cases, in non-fraud cases, 73 can be invoked, and in fraud cases, 74 can be invoked. So any order which has been passed under this is an appealable order. So for an appealable order to come, it should come either through an audit para, it should come either to an ASMT, or it should come through your INS as an investigation. So that everything gets into a show cause notice, an order has been passed, that order becomes an appealable order here. Then very important appeal jurisdiction is on your detention and confiscation of the goods. So these are the appealable orders is your detention. So one of the biggest things which was been marketed and everybody were given to enjoy or was being given to publicize of ease of doing business when the GST was coming is that we are removing the check post. So actually, before the GST was introduced, the business people actually thought there is no check post. But actually, what happened in GST was that what they meant was that it doesn't mean that your goods has not been stopped under the movement. All that they told is we are not going to stop at one committed place. It is like drink and drive. I can stop anywhere, any road, anywhere I can stop. So that is what they told. But this negativity they published as positivity when the GST was there. They are viewing check post. There is no one fixed place now. Anywhere it can be check post. So all the goods almost are being stopped. Harassment has been happened by the state authorities, and even for a small error in a e-way bill, maybe a truck number not been properly written. So various reasons there is a there is the e-way bills have been sorry, the trucks have been stopped. So now there is the only remedy which has been available there is that you need to pay 200% of the penalty, and then only your goods have been released, which has been confiscated. So now when you pay 200% of penalty and an order has been passed, that order is an appealable order. So that is something which you could look at. Same with the confiscation. Now, what is not appealable order is that any order which has been passed for transferring your case from one officer to other officer. Uh, I think Mr. Chelpani wants to say something. Sir, please use chat box to convey your message. Any order which is pertaining to seizures and retention of the books, register and other documents, so that is not appealable. Order sanctioning prosecution under this act is not appealable, and any order which has been passed for payment under installment, so that is all these orders are not appealable. So sanctioning prosecution, this will be a trial which will be conducted by the metropolitan court. So that is where you need to go there and do it as a proper criminal case. That is how the jurisdiction will be there. Appeal or anything which is there, you have to look in that forum, not in the appellate forum. Then there is also a provision under section 80 where there is a due of tax to be paid. You can ask for an installment for making the payment. So if there is a rejection for giving an installation, you cannot appeal that. So that is the provision which has been given here. Now let's understand who is an adjudicating authority. I told the order passed by the adjudicating authority only can be going for appeal. So the adjudicating authority is your officer who has been appointed in the notification 2 of 2017. That is the assistant commissioner or the deputy commissioner. So in some cases, the state jurisdiction, the joint commissioner also can be your adjudicating authority, but the commissioner himself cannot be able to be doing a adjudicating authority. So that is these are the people, and it is also important to note that there is a monetary limit which has been given for each rank of the adjudicating authority for preferring an appeal. So if it is not been given by the proper officer based on the monetary terms, that itself is an invalid order, and that also could be challenged before the appellate authority. Now, what does not include is that any orders which has been the CBIC officer and the revisional authority is not considered as an adjudicating authority. Authority of advance ruling and appellate advance ruling authorities are not considered as adjudicating authority. First appellate, second appellate tribunal is also not been considered, and anti-profiteering authority also are not considered. So officers under the states which has been given, so principal chief commissioner, principal commissioner, AC, JC, DC, assistant commissioner and superintendent. These are all the people who are eligible to do the adjudication other than the chief commissioner and the commissioner. So same is with the state. There is a special commissioner also which has been notified in few states who are having the jurisdiction of the appeal. Other than that is the joint commissioner, deputy commissioner, assistant commissioner and the CTOs are eligible for doing the adjudication. all the orders which has been passed by the additional commissioner or the joint commissioner under central tax, commissioner appeals will hear the matter, and under the state it will be the joint commissioner who hears the matter. When the orders has been passed by deputy commissioner or assistant commissioner, deputy or assistant commissioner or the superintendent, the appeal lays with the joint commissioner appeals, and when it comes to state also it's under the joint commissioner appeals. Now this is what is there for Telangana. Maybe for Karnataka or Tamil Nadu, the appellate authority as with the state, maybe joint commissioner or a special commissioner, which is not been clearly notified. So when the order has been passed by the additional or joint commissioner under the state officer, it has to be appealed before the special commissioner, but the special commissioner in the state of Telangana has not been notified. Then comes is the 3 months time limit, which I was talking about. I spent quite a lot of time in this. So 3 months counts from the date of communication of the order and not the date of the order. So communication of the order is very, very important. And section 169(1) gives the various modes of communication of the order. So it is very important to know that this is completely different than the erstwhile central excise or service tax law, or even the VAT law was there in many of the states, where the serving of the notice was one after the other chronologically. In service tax and central excise, they told that the first you attempt to give a registered post acknowledgement due. If this post has not been delivered, then you send it by a messenger, or you go and tender it directly, ask him to come and collect it. So if these two are not possible, then you go say you send it by what you call affix it on the in the premises of the noticee. If that is also not possible, then affix it in your own notice board. So this is how the chronology was been there. Each can be exercised when the previous one was not possible. However, 169 says that you can do it in any of the modes which has been given. So either can be sent under post. In one of the modes which is there is by uploading in the common portal. The moment they upload it in the common portal, that is also a valid service of the show cause notice or the order. So there is no any other modes to be done in parallel to just uploading in the common portal. Now, while uploading in the common portal, there are certain challenges that they are not uploading in the relevant place where it has to be uploaded. So whether that can be told as a valid service in the notice, because they are giving it in some additional notices and not in the main tab. So this also again is debatable. The law says that it has to be communicated by uploading in the common portal. Which tab and all those things is not been discussed. As long as information was available in common portal, you should have exercised the diligence. That is what the court may be telling. So the date of communication, if at all you have got in speed post or the registered post, the date when you received, from that date your 3 months is going to apply. Or when it is uploaded in the common portal, you have the date stamp. From that date stamp, within 3 months is going to apply. Now, Sudhir, I have a peculiar situation. I was also given a registered post acknowledgement due. I was also given uploaded. I got an email. It was also uploaded in the common portal. So registered post was received to me on 23rd of June, whereas it was uploaded in the common portal on 20th June only. I read the email on 21st of June. What is the date of communication I have to take? Whichever is earliest known to you has to be taken as the date of communication. In my example, 20th June, it was uploaded in the common portal. That becomes your date of communication of the order. And the 3 months should be calculated from this date. So that is very important. Then there is a decision of the Madurai bench of Madras High Court, which is a very important decisions, and there are n number of decisions have come following this High Court ruling, which is very good. What this High Court ruling did is they compared the Telangana GST Act, the erstwhile Act, some Rule 54 or something which was existing in there, with the current 169(3) of the GST rules, and they compared and they told these are more or less similar in nature. And they told the idea is that the principle of natural justice has to be given in a litigation. So applying the principle of natural justice, the each of these clauses has been mentioned should be read as that, like what I was telling earlier. If it is not possible, then you have to do it. So common portal uploading comes in very last. Without attempting the other source, other modes of serving the notice, you directly putting it to the common portal will not be a proper service of the order, and thereby the date of now can be considered as date of receipt, and the appeal can be preferred. So that is what this Madras High Court in case of Sahul Ahmad has been declared. So this is a very, very beautiful case. So for all these cases where the where it was only uploaded in the common portal, you are not at all been aware, then you can still take a shelter under this High Court decision and go to the High Court, Telangana High Court, or whichever the jurisdictional High Court, and get a similar order, and you can give the life to this particular order which has been passed. Then issue is in time limit. So whether giving an order to an authorized representative is been taken as a valid communication, answer is yes, it can be taken. So date of communication to be considered for the time minutes of 3 months. Yeah, that is something which you should look at. And date of summary of the order, or date of detailed order. So this is again a small line of difference which has been there. But unless until a detailed order is been there, you have not been put to a position where you will be able to go for an appeal. So on a summary order, you don't know the grounds on which it has been passed, what is the sections which is invoked against you, all those things is not coming out. So you are not put in a position for to be going for an appeal. So thereby it is the date of detailed order to be considered as an actual communication of the order and not the summary order per se. Detention order served to the driver of the vehicle, is it valid? This is also something could be questioned, but as long as he is the authorized, he is the person who is the custodian of your goods, and if it has been given, that is something which could be either way argued. But this is a ground which we could fight, saying that it is not a proper service of notice. Condonation of the delay, I have told. So can appellate authority condone the period beyond 1 month? Answer is no, but the High Court can condone the delay in exercising the writ jurisdiction. So Apotex Research, Ishwari Global Metals. So these are all the decisions of the High Court, which will help in our favor. And the contrary decision is Vikas Shankar Joshi. So that is contrary. And next, pre-deposit for filing the appeal. Coming to the pre-deposit, you need to mandatorily deposit 10% of the tax demanded if the demand is for tax, interest, and penalty. If the plus the admitted tax and interest has to be paid in full. Now, in case the demand is only for penalty, then you have to pay 10% of the penalty. If there is no demand of the tax at all, it is only penalty you have to do. If both are involved, then paying on tax is sufficient. Paying again 10% on penalty is not required. In case of e-way bill cases, 25% of the disputed penalty has to be given. As I told, it is 200% of the tax. On 200% of the tax, you will have to pay 25%. That is along 50% of the tax you will end up paying as a pre-deposit for filing the first appeal. So more or less, they are discouraging you to go for an appeal, more or less. So that is something which the provision is for. In case the appeal is based on the refund rejection order, no pre-deposit to be filed. And if the department has filed an appeal, then also no pre-deposit. You can give a reply to the notice or the cross objection and go ahead and give your reply. Then in exceptional cases, once you have paid 10%, 90% is deemed to be stayed. So there is a specific provision which has been given because in the earlier erstwhile VAT, there was a clear, there was no such provision which was there as a deemed stay. So what was happening is there was some 25% of the pre-deposit to be paid. After paying 25%, you should also make an application for granting stay for balance 75%, and that was again subject to the discretionary of the officer. So now there is a very good provision which says that the moment you pay 10% and balance you need not pay. In exceptional cases where you are not able to, when there is a gross violation of principle of natural justice, and if you have to pay 10%, that becomes a huge financial burden for you and operational challenges. In such exceptional cases, the High Court can give the waiver of pre-deposit under the Article 226 and 227. I'm so sorry. So these were the provisions. Now I'll quickly take you through those appeal drafting things, the tips in the appeal drafting or the practical things which I thought I should share with you. It's very important that you need to put a proper facts of your case. So as far as I am concerned, I always tell this to my team also that you writing the facts properly, you are you have made 50% of the chance of winning your appeal. Because the way you put forward the facts should be very firm with some documentary evidence and things like that. By reading the facts, the appellate authority should have already been made a mind that there is no error which has been conducted, or the assessee, the appellate is not a fraudulent assessee, or whatever it is. So all the essential facts has to be clearly written. One of the things which error I have seen few of the people committing is that they reiterate the facts which is there in the show cause notice. It is important that the facts which has been written in the show cause notice is favoring the department, making the reader feel that the taxpayer has done an error. So that is how the language is. And when you are asking, you are extracting the same in your appeal paper book, you are requesting the appellate authority to read this facts, then it becomes very negative for you in terms of that. Say, for example, the facts of the department will say that on gathering the intelligence that there was an evasion of tax done by the noticee, the investigation was initiated. Now, if you are writing this in the facts, you are giving unnecessary saying that, oh, there was an intelligence that there is an evasion of tax. So maybe you are an evader of tax. So that is how they are looking at. So they have written the show cause notice in the language which they want it. But what you have to write is something different. You need to start with the basic fundamental as to when your company was formed. Maybe if it is a very long company, and the practice of you issuing an invoice or you taking an ITC item or anything existed not only because of now the GST has implemented, it has been there in your practice for 1 or 2 decades. irrespective of whatever the law was applicable earlier, bring all those things in the facts. That our company was started in 1980, and since 1980 we have been prompt in paying all the taxes and doing the regular compliance. We were also being given a recognition by the income tax department or the erstwhile central excise department as a prompt taxpayer. We have a record of filing all the returns within the due dates. We have been appreciated by the department for cooperating during the departmental audit. So this is how you need to write the facts, where the appellant authority, when he is reading your facts, when he is trying to look at what profile you are giving them some basis and the positive energy about the taxpayer. I hardly see people writing this sort of a facts, which is very, very important. In one of the cases where there was a notice which was given under 74, this particular company had got some high level awards for that, some industry awards by government of India. By the president, they had gotten, president of India had given some award for doing some innovation and doing very good work. So we made a mention of that, and again draw the ground saying that why would I commit a fraud of a small amount when I have so much of big repute and larger cause which has been there. So that is how that helped in coming out from a 74 case. So you need to take all those things, sit with the client, understand beyond the facts which is there in the reply to the show cause notice, and to the extent what you can know from the accounts. So it is always important you speak to the business owners, understand their business, what has been happened, and try to put that particular facts. In one of the cases for the 74 notices, what we represented is that we told that you accumulate whatever the GST which has been paid in last 5 years. So that particular associate had paid about 500 crores of GST in last 5 years and some X amount of income tax in 5 years. They had received a show cause notice alleging a fraud or suppression of a demand pertaining to 25 lakh rupees. So we made that when we have paid 500 crores in last 5 years, what is the need for me to commit a fraud for 25 lakhs? If at all that has not been paid, that is because of oversight or because of my understanding, wrong understanding of the law, but not because of a fraudulent intention or evasion of tax. If I would have to evade, I would have evaded entire 500 crores or a big large amount I would have evaded. So this is how the facts has to be written, where you are not actually telling, but you are giving an indication to him, saying that boss, this is something somebody has done 500 crores. This is not something very easy. This is something who has contributed to the nation. So that is a feeling which you need to give it to the officer when you are writing the facts. And whenever it is, and write the facts which is relevant for the case. Some cases I have seen the facts has been written which is not at all relevant for the case, neither the grounds what you are taking. And sometimes I've seen people going to the website of the client, and whatever they have written in the website from a sales pitch point of view, copying and pasting that in the facts at the appeal book, which is not going to help at all unless until there is something which you need to take a ground based on the sales appeal pitch in terms of a classification of the products or something like that. Then it is a different story. Otherwise, you look at putting the facts which is relevant, and the facts should be very simple, understandable format. And you want to bring any event of dates, that this is the date when the appellate authority, the investigation people came. This is the date when I have given them the response. This is the date the stage summons was recording. If all those things are relevant for some grounds which you are taking, you can also put all these things, facts, in a tabular format so that it is easy for them to understand. And it is very, very important to keep in mind that no new facts nor the factual grounds can be taken in any stage other than a reply to the show cause notice. Only the adjudication stage only you take. The moment you are missing some facts within the adjudicating authority, the appellate authority will not be able to entertain those facts. So that is important for all of us to understand that we need to do properly the facts at the original stage itself. Then the support facts should be supported by sufficient documentary evidence. You telling that from the institution of the GST, all the returns have been paid within the due date, that is not sufficient. Give an annexure 1, date of month of whichever the month, due date for the filing, actual date of filing of the returns. Give an annexure. Prove whatever you are telling with the documentary evidence. Don't just merely make a statement without giving evidence which may or may not be considered by the appellate authority. And details of filing reply, attending PH of hearing should be mentioned. That you had given a reply, that also should be part of the facts. Any correspondence or anything which has been happened during the PH, that also can be brought into the facts. Once the facts has been there, then it comes your grounds of argument. And in grounds of the argument, you need to take a technical arguments and the merit-based arguments. So technical arguments could be something like a principle of natural justice, something which proper rank officer not given, or the show cause notice is not having the basic essential which a show cause notice should be having. So all those things will come into a technical manner. So one of the technical ground is whether there was a jurisdiction for the officer to issue a show cause notice. So that is something which is important. As I told, there is a monetary limit and the circular which has been issued. So any orders which has been beyond 1 crore or 1 + 1, 2 crores can be issued only by ADC or JC. If it is beyond 1 crore, AC or DC is not eligible to give. And if it is below more than 10 lakhs, superintendent will not be able to give. So this is something which you need to be very clear in terms of the monetary jurisdiction of that particular officer, in addition to the geographical jurisdiction of that particular officer. So if it is not given within this jurisdiction, that is not a valid notice which has been given or an order has been passed, and hence that can be challenged. And very important is that the order which has been passed should be a reasoned order which has been passed. So I have been seeing the state department passing the orders. Most of the orders which I have seen are not reasoned order. So what they are saying is that they are copying and pasting our reply, and they are giving a finding and say all the grounds taken by the appellate or whatever the taxpayer is not valid and hence not considered. That's all. One page liner. It has been done. Based on that, an order has been passed confirming the demand without not giving proper reasoning. So this is not a proper order at all. It is a clear violation of principle of natural justice. So you can directly go to the High Court also if you need may arise and challenge this particular order only mere on this failure to mention the provisions, failure to mention the grounds on which the order has been passed. So this is very important for you to look at. And many of the cases where there is a time bar. So based on this technical point, even if it has been time barred before the Commissioner Appeals, the High Court can entertain when these sort of an unreasoned orders are being given. They can entertain and squash such orders which has been passed and give a saving clause in terms of the limitation to the officer to pass the suitable order. So that is something which you need to keep it in mind. So Allahabad High Court in case of Ansari construction had observed that department miserably failed to verify the facts from their own records, and thereby the order is not correct, which is beyond the principles of the natural justice. And very important is that the order cannot go beyond the show cause notice. So whatever the show cause notice has been alleged, the order has to confirm or dropped based on the allegation of the show cause notice. That means to say, if the show cause notice has not invoked the provisions for invoking section 74, An order cannot be passed under section 74. They cannot give a new reasoning and passed under section 74 other than what has been given in the show cause notice. So in the show cause notice, they have not given any mention at all as to how 74 applies, because 74 applies in different scenario. 74 can be applied in case of fraud, in case of suppression of facts with an intention to evade the payment of tax or any contravention of the provisions of the law. So if these are the things which has been there, then only the 74 there. Any of this was not been proposed in the show cause notice. In the order, they cannot confirm based on some reasoning which was not in existence. Similarly, is that similarly is that we need to uh, look at whether the proper grounds was been taken. Again, the state officers are having the assessment mindset, where initially in the assessment notice they would have given some classification issue. Later they'll find some scrap, the taxes not been paid. Then they will add that particular para also. So that is how they generally tend to do. So they also try to do this under show cause notice, which is not possible. They can give a revised show cause notice, but they cannot add a new grounds and pass an order which was not invoked in the show cause notice. So that is important. And then passing beyond the time limits under 73 and 74. So as you may be aware that there was a notification which was given extending the time frame for issuing the order. So there were two notifications. The first notification has been upheld, but the second notification is being challenged and it has been held as time bar. So any of the orders which has been given beyond that permissible period as per that notification can be held as a time bar, and all those things can be directly taken to the High Court and get it squashed. Even if it is time barred order where you are not able to go for an appeal, that is also something which you could go to High Court and try it. So I already talked about summary of the order has to be uploaded online. So if it is not uploaded, then it is not a valid serving of the show cause notice, and thereby your time limit is not been hampered. And it is also important that the DIN should be quoted for all the central officers. Notice issued by the orders passed by the adjudicating authority of the central officer. Under Telangana GST, they are yet to notify the DIN number, but Andhra has notified it. So it is very important that if the DIN number was not mentioned in your order, then it is not a valid order at all. So, and a reissuing of an order with DIN will constitute to communication of the order of the revised order or the revised date. And if that is time bar, that also can be questioned. Merits. So take the all the grounds on the merits. So explain the relevant provisions wherever it is required in the context. Give the relevant extract only to that extent. Say, for example, you are looking at contesting 17 subsection 5 and C. So you need not extract the entire section 17.5 only because the relevant clause is 17.5C. You can only go and extract 17.5C only, so that you are not unnecessarily making the appeal paper book very thicker. So why we say that you give the extract which is relevant is that you are avoiding some time and the pain of the appellate authority in going to the book, opening the book and reading that and understanding what exactly the provision is there. So at the ready context, you are giving this extract then and there. He says that section 17.5C states so and so. He reads that, and thereafter, whatever the point you need to make, it is easy for him to correlate. So that's the reason we say that wherever it is required and need may arises, please give the statutory provision extracts also. And it is very important that the statutory provision extracts what you are giving is the provision which was in existent at the relevant period, relevant dispute period. So some cases the law may have undergone a change, some amendments, some additions or deletions in the clauses. And I have seen the error is that they extract what is there today, which is not relevant was to what was there during the dispute period. So once you are extracting the clause, you need to carefully look at the period which has been affected and give this particular period. Then correlate with the factual background. So all the facts related things has to be properly taken, and you need to cross check it with the facts. Check for the circulars which is in your favor and FAQs which is in favor, case laws which is favorable to you. Take all those grounds and make your case. Very important is that you can also refer to the pre-GST cases only when it is parameteria. That is, it is very, very similar. So what has to happen is that if you are referring to a decision of the tribunal under the service tax, High Court or Supreme Court under the service tax, while you are referring it, you also have to make a comparative analysis of the one table which gives the law which existed at that point of time and the law which is there under the current law. Say, for example, the valuation that the provision which was been existent under central excise is very much similar to what is there under the valuation under GST. So the transaction value, the definition, everything is more or less similar. So both you extract next to each other and say that because this is both same, the interpretation which was given in the High Court when it come to this in the erstwhile law will equally applicable for the GST also is a case which you should be taking. And you need to take whenever you are relevant, you are giving a case law. It is also important for you to explain the relevance of the case law. Many times it says that it is not payable because of the following case law. But what is this case law? Why? What it says? All those things is not been given. So if I am not given, I am not helping the appellate authority to give a favorable against order for me. So that is the reason you need to be careful while you are doing this exercise. Next is that court case laws in sequence. Supreme Court should be the first preference, followed by High Court and the tribunals, jurisdictional tribunals. If not the jurisdictional tribunal, any other tribunals has to be looked at. Then judicial discipline is also very, very important point which has to be taken. So if there is already an order of the High Court, it is bound that the adjudicating authority has to follow that particular order. So now there could be an order which is having a persuasive value, or it could be having a could be a binding. So the binding will come only when it is with the jurisdictional officer, jurisdictional High Court or something, and your own particular case is involved. Otherwise, the other things should always have a persuasive value, which also needs to be followed. And also using the right legal magazine wherever is required is also recommended at the time of the appeal, because these are all the legal grounds which you can take. Say, for example, 16(4) requires it could be the time limit, or 16(2)(c) requires you that the tax has to be paid by your vendor by using the valid input tax credit. So if it is not, if it is impossible for you to ensure, you need not do that. So that is the law of the land. So these sort of legal maxims and the supporting case laws or something has to be taken and referred to here when you are preparing the appeal. Then you should give a documentary evidence for every submissions which you are making. So which is very, very important. Then wherever it is possible, try and submit external evidence which will be having a more relevance than your own thing. All this 2B reconciliation, ITAC reconciliation, debit note, credit note reconciliation, it would be highly advisable you take a certificate from your from a chartered accountant, preferably a chartered accountant who has done the audit or 999C assignment, so he knows everything about it, and take a certificate and put it as a part of the appeal paper book. So this CS certificate should be given a weightage to and similarly is the consulting engineer, etc. Then very important is that when you after you have taken the merits, it's also important for you to work on the requantification of the demand. So requantification of the demand is that without prejudice to the foregoing. Very important is that in the starting of the appeal only, you have to write that each grounds which you are taking is not prejudice to other foregoing or not in admission to the other grounds which has been taken. So how you write every ground is assuming but not admitting. Without prejudice to the foregoing, I am giving you this submitting. So it doesn't mean that if something you are tell, it is becoming an assumption. So many of the cases, this quantification case laws grounds in terms of removing the exempted turnover which they have not been done, in terms of giving the come value, come tax value benefit, etc. All needs to be quantified. And the cases with respect to the circulars also has to be taken. So any circular which is in line with the provision is valid and it is binding on the department. When a circular is not in line with the law, the Supreme Court has held in case of Ratan Belting Wire Industry that it is not in existence with the law. It is annexed in the law. So that is the reason you need to look at any circular which department is referring, which was not a part of the law or what something which has not been told. All those things can be challenged. Then counter all the findings of the order. So one is giving your own facts. Another is the order would have countered many things that why your grounds is not takeable. So you have to differentiate and counter every argument. You cannot be silent on even a single findings of the order. Everything has to be countered. And many cases when the clauses have been defined, so any phrases or something, first what you have to do is whether it is defined under the CGST, SGST Act or an IGST Act. If it is not been defined under here, then you have to go to the General Clauses Act. If it is not there, then you can say, if you can take a reference from the previous act or any other parallel act like income tax or something. Otherwise, the protocol is that you need to go with a common parlance. So in common parlance, what is this clause has been understood has to be looked at. So for helping to determine the common parlance, you have to use the dictionary for arriving at the common parlance. Then take also the help of the council meeting. It is very important the council meeting minutes will have a detailed background and the discussion which has been happened, why this amendment was brought into the place, what was the intention of the amendment. Sometimes the intention may not have been met with the actual way the implementation has been happening. So thereby to interpret this particular provision, the intention is required. That is where you get it from the GST Council meetings. FAQ, which has been there, been issued by the department, will also give what is the intention of the law which has been there. All those things will help in making a better interpretation of the provision in your favor and represent before the High Court. And very important is that you need to take all possible arguments, factual and also the legal argument. I have seen few people don't want to take all the arguments. They will say that if I'm giving this argument, the department will strengthen their case. So thereby I'm not going to do it. So that is not going to work. If you go for an appeal, what grounds you are not taken in the first appellate authority, the GST tribunal will not be able to decide on that particular grounds. So don't reserve anything, play all cards, don't reserve any cards close to your chest. So having taken all the grounds, all the alternative grounds, it is very important to make a mention saying that each grounds is without prejudice to the others. Say, for example, I am saying that tax is not at all payable because it is exempted by notification so and so. Then I am saying that you, if at all the tax is payable, you have to give me come tax benefit. The department cannot come back and say, see, he himself is saying it is not taxable. At the same time, he himself is saying that he need to get a come tax benefit. When come tax will apply when the tax is applicable. So indirectly he is admitting when he is asking come tax benefit that this amount is subjected to tax. So that is where you have to make it very clear that each ground which is taken is an alternative without admitting and without prejudice to the other ground which has been taken. So what we generally do in the first paragraph of the appeal itself, we'll say that the grounds which has been taken is without prejudice to each other and without any admission. So that you have to make it very clear either in the first para or the last para, but don't miss to do it because that may actually go against you also. And distinguish the case law relied on by the order. So the case law delayed many of the cases. While we are doing this preparation, we don't we do a research of the case laws which is there in our favor, and we don't give a sufficient weightage for the case laws which is against me. So this is important that you also need to analyze all the case laws which is against you, and you need to differentiate those case laws with yours. So how you will do, there are two things which you could look at. One is how the facts are different in that case compared to your case. In that fact, the product was having if it is a say classification issue, the product was having 85% of a particular base material, and in my case the base material which has been talked about is only 25%. So that case law will not apply to me because my facts are totally different, my composition totally different than what it is. So this is the factual differentiation which one could do, which for looking at the cases which is against you. Second is that you can also tell that if there was an error in the order because of not considering certain grounds which you are considering, which was not there before that appellate authority. So you can always say that although this order is there which is against me, it has not considered these grounds which is been argued by you. If this grounds was argued before this court, then the case law would have been favorable to me and not against me. However, having told this, you only have to distinguish the case laws which is given in the order. If the order has not mentioned a case law, but you know there is a case law against you, make all the preparation for that and keep it ready, but don't put it in a part of your appeal book. When required during the time of the hearing, when this question is coming, then only you have to answer. You need, sometimes the department may not even know this case law exists. So you don't write everything in your appeal and give an ideas for them to confirm the order against you. Take the grounds for interest and penalties. So this is also something, at least even today, out of 10 documents which go out of my office, at least one person is going to call me and say, we have taken so much arguments on extended period of limitation, interest, penalty. Are we not giving an indication to the appellate authority that we are not strong on merits and thereby we are taking these arguments? So should we avoid taking these arguments? Answer is totally no. You have to take all possible arguments without prejudice to each other. And if department wants to come and say that you are saying that you are exempted, why you are asking penalty should not be levied? So then you say, okay, you accept that, then I am going to withdraw this. All that is that if you are not accepting that, then this is going to apply. So it is very important that you take interest and penalty grounds also, and check what is the rate of interest which has been asked. Initially, there were certain notices where it was confirmed at 24% of interest, which is not actually applicable at all. It is 18% only. And very important, when interest grounds you are taking is that when interest, you have a sufficient balance of input tax credit, the interest should not be applicable. You need to understand what is the difference between, or what is the purpose of interest and what is the purpose of penalty. purpose of penalty is more of preventive in nature. The purpose of interest is to make good the loss of the government. So government was supposed to receive this money from you 6 months ago, but now I am receiving this money. Because of this, the government has suffered a loss because you have paid it late. To compensate that loss, the interest is being proposed. Now, why the penalty is there? Penalty is more of a preventive method, preventive thing, that if the penalty is not there, everybody will start taking an advantage of not making the payment and make the payment along with the interest when department sees it. So to stop doing that, the penalty will be invoked, which is a deterrent or a preventive measures which has been there. So while taking the interest, if a sufficient ITC balance is available, or if you had paid this RCM, you would have taken that credit and used for making the output tax, only your presentation would have been different. Government would have not got even a single rupee extra, but still tax is payable, but interest may not be payable, because where is the loss for you? See what I have done in my returns. I have taken input tax credit of 20 rupees or 20 lakh rupees against the demand of 1 crore rupees. Sorry, output tax of 1 crore rupees. 20 lakhs I have taken input tax credit. 80 lakhs I have paid it in electronic cash ledger, and I have not complied one RCM payment of 10 lakhs. Had I complied RCM payment of 10 lakhs, what I would have done? I would have paid 10 lakhs challan of RCM, taken that as an input tax credit. My total input tax credit would have been 30. Then again, I would have paid 70 rupees, 70 lakhs as a challan. So 70 plus 10, 80. What I have paid is also 80. So there is no change in what money you would have got. Because there is no change in what money you have got, there is no loss to the government, and thereby interest should not be applicable. So these are all the grounds which you could argue. There are two instances where Section 50 was subjected to amendment. First instance was a scenario where I have filed my returns lately, delayedly, but I had sufficient input tax credit. The liability was 1 crore. I was having 2 crore rupees of input tax credit. For some reason, I have filed it after 3 months. Whether the interest is applicable, few case laws and all initially confirmed yes, and then it went to the higher forums where few high courts told no, there is no law, and thereby it should not be there. This was accepted by the department. The law was amended, saying that if there is a delay in filing of the returns, however, it will add a sufficient input tax credit, no interest will come. Then the second set of litigation was, in this case, I have made the payment from my bank to electronic cash ledger. The amount was laying on the due date in my electronic cash ledger. For some reason, returns filing got delayed and the offset got delayed. Thereby, there is amount to delay in offsetting the liability. Here also, there was a second time the amendment came, and they told if there is a delay and you had sufficient cash balance, then the interest should not be applicable. So only in these two cases only they have told that interest would not be applicable. But what about a scenario that I missed to assess one invoice number 001 in the month of June, and the liability was 10,000 rupees. Closing balance of input tax credit was 10 lakh rupees. I forgot this. I did it in the month of July. This under Section 50, there is no saving for interest. There is no saving for interest. However, you can still argue on the same logic that there is no loss to the government, so it need not be compensated. So these are the things on interest can be looked at. Why I'm putting so much emphasis is in some cases we are seeing interest itself is more or less same amount as the demand. If there is a demand of 50 lakhs, there is an interest of 45 lakhs to 60 lakh rupees. So interest, if many of the cases the clients wants to say, sir, I'm ready to pay this 50 lakhs, I want to settle it. Then we are saying, no, sir, if you want to settle it, it is not only paying 50 lakhs, you have to pay 50 lakhs, another 45 lakh rupees of interest, and another 5 lakh rupees of your penalty. So everything comes to 1 crore rupees. Then they are saying, no, I don't want to do. So in such cases, you could look at paying 45 lakhs. arguing on interest not being applicable, arguing on penalty not being applicable, and try to get this case closed. This is very important. So Supreme Court, in case of Reliance Petro Products, has told that the penalty which is there could be looked at as a discretionary penalty under 73(9), and it is not a mandatory penalty. So that is what has been looked at. So that is also one of the case for penalty for argument. Then there is section number 126, which is a general discipline relating to the penalty, where it says if it was a curable defect and there was no any revenue loss to the government, it was only a procedural error. In such case, the penalty can be waived. And the general penalty which has been there of 25,000, whether it is for each contravention or in general, is again a very gray area. That means to say, I was supposed to issue an e-invoice because of crossing a notified turnover, but for some reason I have not done that. Now I have issued 100 invoices. So taxes has been paid. So 73 cannot be invoked, 74 cannot be invoked, and it has been paid within time. No interest can be invoked. Whether the penalty can be invoked under general penalty because of non-compliance of a statutory provision which was required to be complied. If yes, whether it is 25 plus 25, 50,000 rupees in total for this entire period, or 100 invoice into 50,000 is a question which is unanswered. So in my view, it is one single contravention of not issuing the e-invoice. The maximum penalty should be 50,000 rupees, not 50,000 into 100. And you can always take a risk pros under 126 seeking the waiver for it. So that is what something should be looked at. And GST being new law, you can always, there is n number of case laws under service tax there. The penalties have been waived, saying that because it is a new law, you should not be harsh and penalty should not be levied. So these are the things which you could look at. Then 74 is applicable only in case of fraud, wishful misstatement, and suppression of the facts. So fraud is that there should be a proper fraudulent activity, and willful misstatement. It is very important that the word willful is there. So many cases the department is only saying that you misstated the fact, but it is onus of them to prove that you had willfully misstated the facts to evade the payment of tax. Unless until they bring that evidence, 74 cannot be invoked. And the third one, very important, is the suppression of the facts. So whether the suppression is mere suppression or suppression linked with the intention is to be looked at. So, and they have also given an explanation for the suppression, which says what you are supposed to declare in the returns, the moment you have not declared, not reported, that amounts to a suppression. So this is the reason it is very important that you cannot leave anything unfilled in your returns. Otherwise, 74 can be invoked. And the moment you have disclosed something in the returns, 74 cannot be included invoking suppression. They have to prove me fraud or willful misstatement, but the mere suppression of the facts, they will not be able to invoke. So these are the things which is important from a 74 point of view. Then there is other points which you could take is that there should be some positive action. That is all deliberation should be there. So these are all the case laws which has been there. I'm going to share this deck with Suresh sir, so that can be circulated among your WhatsApp group. So that I am not going much into it. Whenever there is a interpretation and complexities, then the penalty should not be invoked. So clerical mistake, the vehicle detection should not happen. There is a circular on this. Of course, nobody listens to the circular, but there is a circular which is available. So mismatch in GSTR 1 and 3B is not conclusive of suppression. AP Appellate Authority has been told that the moment there is a mismatch, that doesn't mean that it is a suppression. Then form and manner of filing the appeal, you have to file APL 01 electronically has to be done. Wherever it has not been possible, then you can file it manual also is been availed, and you need to take a provisional acknowledgement and also the final acknowledgement. Whenever you are whenever the order is not uploaded in the portal, then you are also supposed to give a certified copy of the order. So the certified copy of the order should be given within 7 days from filing the online appeal. If it is given within 7 days, the date of filing your online appeal will be considered as the actual date of filing. If you are not giving this within 7 days, you give it on 10th day. The 10th day will be considered as the date of filing of the appeal. So this is something which you should be looking at. It always avoid to do it at the last moment, because any such discrepancy and you want to cure it, it will going to take time, and thereby you will come into the condonation period or beyond that also some cases. Then one of the challenge is that summary of the order has not been uploaded, and thereby online appeal there is becoming a challenge. And detention orders are also not uploaded in the portal. All this e-way bill related thing, they're purposefully not doing because people will go for an appeal. So that is also something you have to go for a manual appeal, manual filing of the appeal. Then pre-deposit has to be paid. If the pre-deposit has been paid by DRC 03, or it has been already paid during the investigation, those adjustment the portal is not allowing, and hence you need to give a manual clarification for such issues. Department also can go for an appeal within 6 months from the date of communication, subject to the order of the review by the commissioner. They also get a 1 month of condonation. So they get totally 7 months and we get only 4 months. So taxpayer can file the reply to appeal, or the cross objection can be filed. So it is very important to understand what is a cross objection and reply to appeal. Reply to the appeal is a counter which you file against the appeal which has been gone by the department. But when it is a cross objection, you should also be aggrieved by the order. Say, for example, there was 4 issues on which the show cause notice was issued. 3 came in your favor, 1 was against you, and you thought, why unnecessarily I should fight one? You have got majority relief is in the 3, and thereby you did not prefer an appeal. So department went on appeal for 3, and you have to give the fourth one. Fourth one, you did not go for an appeal. So you will be given a chance to appeal on the fourth one also, saying that that was also not payable and there is an error in this order, because anyway you are going in the appeal forum, and you can take your grounds also. And certified copy should be submitted. It is very important that the certified copy should be, opportunity should be given of the hearing. Personal hearing is mandatory unless until you say that I am taking a waiver of not taking the personal hearing. It is important that the personal hearing has to be given. The personal hearing can be conducted in person, or it can also be conducted on a virtual mode. So there is a recent circular which says in general it should be a virtual mode only, and only in case of exception it has to be on in-person mode. So you have to write why you need to require an in-person mode. Many of the cases you want to show a lot of documents or vouchers, it becomes very difficult to do it virtually, and thereby you have to explain that scenario, and you will be able to take a in-person hearing and appear before the officer. And you can also be taking 3 adjournments, that is possible. And better to prepare a synopsis or the gist of summary of the case. Sometimes appeal becomes very bulky. 1 or 1.5 pager of synopsis you carry during the hearing, and while doing in the hearing, be crisp, give the facts properly, tell what is the allegation, and tell what is your point of view, what is the finding of the order, why the order finding is wrong. You structure your preparation in and your presentation in this manner and prepare accordingly. So that is what is required. And wherever you want to do an additional grounds, you can again take the you can do this by taking the permission of the appellate authority. You will be able to take the additional ground. Then order of the appellate authority can be passed by confirming, modifying, or annulling the order. So you can confirm or modify in terms of reducing whatever the value, or you can make it zero. So the appellate authority doesn't have a power to send back the case to the original authority for original authority ignoring of doing something. So, however, the appellate authority can examine those facts on his own and pass an appropriate order. So, show cause notice is very important, without which the order cannot be passed at all. It is not only mere show cause notice, the peer show cause notice, which is giving clearly what is the case, what is the violation, the onus of proof on the grounds which has been taken. So all those things has to be satisfied. So there is also a limit of 1 year for deciding the appeal, but this is only a recommendatory. So most of the cases, this is going beyond 1 year also, especially the state. And order shall be communicated to appellant, respondent, and to the authorized to the adjudicating authority, along with a copy to the jurisdictional sales tax or state tax or center tax, as the case may be. They would also be given a service of this notice. So these are the things in terms of the appeal practical issues which I thought I should take you through. And now is the preparedness for the tribunal. So drafting of appeals well in hand is recommended. So notification can come anytime soon. And the moment it has been notified, you will be having only 3 months. That could be a season of your tax audit. It could be some other engagement. So it may be difficult for you to comply with the timings of the filing of the appeal. Second is now the facts are fresh in your mind, and you know what is the grounds to be taken, what has been missed, what are the connections to be prepared. Do everything. It is going to take lesser time now rather than addressing after when the tribunal comes where your memory is lost and you have to rebuild it. So that is something which you need to be prepared for the tribunal. And also filing fees and all can be intimated to client and kept that amount ready, the DD or whatever the mode of payment. And very important is the 10% pre-deposit has to be kept. So most of the cases, if we are saying that we want to go for an appeal, now the notification has been issued, 10% pre-deposit may come to 1 crore, 2 crore rupees, and the company may or may not be in a financial position to expense such sort of a cash outflow. So it is very important that you need to make the appellant clear that tribunal is going to come, and the soon the tribunal is going to come, we have to go for an appeal within 3 months, paying the required pre-deposit. So you make a financial planning for this particular thing in this financial year, you may have to do it. So that sort of a planning and the cash management is also something which you need to be prepared when the tribunal is going to form. And filing an appeal application in form DRC 03A also has to be looked at for closing your challans, DRC 03 challans. Then amnesty scheme also can be evaluated. If it is beneficial, you can go to the amnesty scheme, which is 128A, which has been there. So that is something which could be looked at. Then the matter of facts has to be looked at. If any reconciliation, CA certificate has to be taken, those things can be kept in handy, and don't wait till the last moment. So maintain all case related documents from initial stages, letter, email, spot memo, everything. So building the file is very important. You know when what you don't know when what will be asked by the bench. So you need to have all the documents ready, archived, kept, soft copy, hard copy, with the backup provisions. Everything is something which you need to maintain. So, and you need to become an expert in the law with all the relevant manuals and all the books. Everything is something which you need to invest and keep it ready. So analyze the cases which has been remanded by the High Court or the orders which has been there, which could be in your favor. Keep on following it up. What is happening at the lower stage after it has come back, favorable to you, others, what you need to look at. So keep all those things in mind now before the tribunal is going to be started. In case there is a manual order and you know that you need to go for this, better to follow up with the department and get it uploaded so that it's going to be a smooth filing of the appeal. And it is very important, the provisions of the Tribunal Act, which says that if the order has been passed other than the English, then the translatable English copy also has to be done. So whether it has to be translated by a court officer or it is a department who has to do, it's a gray area, but get the translation and keep it ready, which again otherwise will take time when it is getting notified. Then make a repository of all the favorable case law, and very important that you make a tracker of what all appeal you need to be filing the soon the tribunal is going to notify, and take the required mandate with the client and keep it ready is something also you need to be doing. And have a tracker to track the cases which is coming for the hearing, heard, partly heard, and again it is coming. So have a a tracker ready and some tools which is maybe required for you to subscribing. Then full self-contradiction grounds to be avoided. You should not do that. Familiarize with GST procedure. And very important is that you need to build the communication skills. So especially the court crafts, what we talk about. So you need to know how to put a particular paper, a particular point before the officer, which can be in your favor. So that is something which you look at. Team training also has to be looked at. All the appeal with the paper numbers, the required annexures and all has to be kept in. So as I told, whatever the order which has been referred, decision which is referred in the order, look at the latest position of that and keep it ready. How you're going to bifurcate that, keep that ready. So these are the few things of prayer, how we are going to look at. So these are all the few things which you need to care about when the department is wanting to when you are wanting to go for an appeal. So these were the few things in terms of preparedness for the tribunal is concerned. Very important is the subject knowledge. Most of us may be able to manage with a broad idea and a medium knowledge of the GST before the first appellate authority. But when you go to tribunal, you should be having a very good knowledge of the law, the provisions what not only relevant to that case, the provision which is not at all related to that case, everything you should be knowing immediately when you are appearing before the tribunal. The judge may look at this entire thing from a different context, and he may ask you some provisions which if you are not telling, the confidence of you is going to come down. So you need to know the entire law. That is also going to help in you making a better presentation. So these are the things which one has to concentrate and keep yourself ready for the upcoming tribunal practice. So with this, my session of 1.5 hours has been closed. So I have deliberately kept about half an hour for the question answer. So I will start taking the questions one after the other. You can keep using the chat box for asking the questions. So I thank everybody for the patience listening, and I thank HCA for giving me an opportunity to be here and share my thoughts. Thank you. So now it is whether the pre-deposit is required in the case of cross objections, sir. Very good question. So as I told, 4 cases, 4 issues. To make it simple, 1 lakh each, and 3 lakh was dropped, 1 lakh was confirmed. So I did not go for an appeal. Department is saying this 3 lakh dropping is not correct, and they went for an appeal. On 1 lakh, should I pay 10% pre-deposit is a question which has been asked by Prashanti. No, on 1 lakh pre-deposit is not required. you can directly go for filing your cross objection without doing any pre-deposit. That is permitted. We got a spot memo for incorrect availment of ITC on exempted supplies. Immediately, we paid the entire tax amount and the interest amount, but we did not pay 15% penalty due to shortage of funds. For the same, issued a notice under 74. Can SCN be given under 74 even if we have already paid the tax, entire tax and the interest amount? So it is very important to note 73, 74, the only determination to give a show cause notice under 74 is whether there was a fraudulent activity, whether the tax was not paid because of the fraudulent reason, because of the suppression of the facts, or what is the other element which we discussed was misrepresentation of the facts. Only in these three cases only the 74 can be invoked. That is the only condition to be looked at. Even if you have paid the tax before issuing the show cause notice along with the interest, but still that amount was paid due to fraudulent or any of these things, 74 notice can be still be given. However, in your case, what I am able to infer is that amount which was not paid was was identified during the audit. When it is identified in the audit, then the things were recorded in the books of accounts. Once it is recorded in the books of accounts, it cannot be treated as a suppression and willful misstatement. So thereby you can always argue 74 element have not been done. It is a fit case of 73, and 73 notice also should not be invoked under section 73(5) because I have paid the entire amount along with the interest, and you can certainly fight this penalty. This is a very good case for you to go for an appeal and fight it. I hope Yashmis, you are clear on what is required. Then again, Pawan is asking a question. I know this is too much from expectation, but wanted to check if you have any law, judicial precedents through which tribunal, court, government will give punitive orders to those officers who pass order in utmost negligent manner, sometimes even without referring to considering our submission, thereby creating litigation cost. Most of the times, the cost of litigation, a dispute due to negligent officer is more than the dispute amount for a small demand, and ultimately the genuine taxpayers are suffering for the small demand. Officer are also using this to harass the taxpayer. I think Pawan, you have nailed it. It is what is happening, and somewhere I am feeling this is not even, this is more harassment for us as a practitioner rather than the client. I also have to say, because what happens is when demand is small and these sort of things which has been the orders have been passed, our efforts is more or less the same, but we will not be able to demand the fees what is worth our efforts. So somewhere that is also affecting our professional time, our productivity also. So this has become a pain. So yes, if you want to take an add-on, you can you can go to the High Court and tell that there was a apparent negligence by the officer in terms of not considering your thing. There are a number of cases where the strictures have been passed on the officer, personal penalties have been collected from the officers. So that is possible. It is only thing is whether your client want to do this. If the client want to do this, this has been possible and you could do. But somewhere where I've also looked at is that where such orders has been there, these officers are very thick-skinned, and they have also been protected by the superiors because there is an unfortunate way of giving a target for every officer. The target is coming right from the finance ministry to the board, to the chief commissioners of the zones, assistant commissioners, to the superintendent, where everywhere revenue collection target is there. So these people, what they are doing, when you make a complaint to the principal commissioner, sir, please see your superintendent. He has not considered this. He is passing an order which is not actually correct. I have unnecessarily go to the appeal. Please look into it. When this commissioner is calling the superintendent is asking the commissioner, sir, madam, do you want your targets or not? If you want your targets, you have to give me free hand. Don't tell me you don't do this, don't do this. You want your target, leave it to me. I'm going to give you the target. So this is what pathetic, unfortunate things which is happening. Our revenue officer should not be given a targets. The revenue officer's incentive should not be based on collections. Why a audit officer should ask you to pay the tax? What is the audit party's role? To identify if there is a non-payment of tax and issue the para, done with the role. Why are they becoming recovery agents, recovery officers? They are not supposed to do the recovery. When the recovery has to happen, after the audit, show cause notice to be given, principle of natural justice, hearing should be conducted, order should be passed. I should exercise my option of appeal, or I should give away my option of appeal. That is when the recovery should be initiated. Who is the audit officer? Who is the investigation officer to ask this money? They don't have any power. But this law has been asked. This has been encouraged by the commissioners and the ministry because to meet their revenue target. So I can say, I don't know whether I can use this. There is a lot of greediness in the entire system to collect more and more and more. That is where this harassment is happening. And unfortunately, other than going to the judiciary, we don't have any solution with the bureaucrats. So that is a problem which has been there. So the trade has to collectively come and make a representation. I am also part of few trade forums as a committee member. There also I always give this sort of suggestion saying that we need to protest this, we need to bring it to the notice. But unfortunately, they also want to be very goody with the officers. So they fear that there is something the officers will open up, and they want us as a consultant to do this. So when we do something, they are saying, why are you bothered? Business people are not coming. Why are you bothered? Why are you taking the pain? So this is what has been happening. The entire thing of losing the backbone or the spine is happening in the entire system. So a revolution has to come. So there has to be somebody who's not caring of the consequences and have to take an head-on for changing this, or there should be a wisdom which should prevail in the finance ministry, and they need to ease this revenue targets and things like that. Otherwise, this is going to continue as is. Then the next question is that in case the order is under 62, is the time limit applicable for appeal? Yes, all the orders are applicable for the appeal, but what is for scrutiny of returns, that is the ASMT which has been given. So the scrutiny of returns gets converted into the show cause notice if it has not been discussed. So 62 is not an appealable order, scrutiny of returns. So it has to convert it into a 73, 74 orders, and then only it is appealable within that time period. So I think all the questions which is there in Q&A has been completed. Few people have also used the chat box
Sir,
to ask
new
the
questions
question.
are raised.
1 minute, sir. I'll finish off what is there in the chat box and come back there. Yogesh is asking, rectification order rejected, is it appealable order, sir? Yes. If a rectification has been rejected and that is also an appealable, it is actually not an order, it is a decision. As I told, the order or a decision passed by the adjudicating authority is appealable. So if a rectification has not been made, first of all, when you can go for a rectification, when there is an apparent error, they have not considered certain points which is given by you, or they have misinterpreted what you have given. You are actually giving a reconciliation statement which says the difference is 0. He says, as per the reconciliation submitted by them, it appears that the difference is 1 lakh rupees, and hence I am confirming. But my reconciliation is very 0. He only has given in his finding. So this is all apparent error which has been happened. In case of apparent error, the rectification order has to be passed by the officer. And very important, when the rectification is there, which is there, they have to give the reason. So one of the cases I was before the state officer, So I had given certain reconciliation one day before he passing the order. It was uploaded in the portal. Proper acknowledgement was been given. This was not been considered, and in his finding it told reconciliation not been submitted by the taxpayer. Hence, I am confirming the demand. Then I told this reconciliation is there. He told I have gone through this reconciliation. I am not in agreement with this reconciliation because I don't know what is the basis of this, what is the background of this. So even if you want me to consider this, I cannot give you a favorable order. I told that is completely fine. No problem at all for me. You can still pass a rectification order saying that I have considered this. I am rectifying my order. My decision is not changing. It is going to be the same. Confirm the demand. That's totally okay. But you need to rectify it. The moment the rectification order has been passed, I can go for an appeal on the rectified order. And it will give me a life for me in terms of the time bar. So that is something which the strategy which we looked at. But yes, the rectification rejection also can be appealed. Yeah. There are few again questions here. Is 73 order for difference between GSTR 1 and 3B eligible for 128A benefit? Department is opinion this is not eligible as it is self-ascertained tax. So first of all, when the 73 order has been passed, when a section order has been given under 73, you can go with 128. Whether it is self-assessment, where is the question of self-assessment coming here? So it is not self-ascertained. Self-ascertained is where you have only declared in the returns that it has been short paid, where they go for direct recovery, no show cause notice. The moment an order has been given under 73, it is 128 is applicable. You can always explore. An order was passed with a online rejection. A rejection application was filed within 1 month. The rectification request was rejected 15 days later. What is the last date of filing an appeal? In this case, it will be the date of the 15 days when it was there for the rejection. That 15 days will be excluded for computing the time limit for filing the appeal. Sir, can a mobile squad of GST can GST detention vehicle based on the transaction type errors like regular regular bill to ship to can challenge this in the appellate forum? Yes. So lot of cases, I can say 90% of the cases made by the mobile squad are not correct at all. They have to do only when there is no e-way bill at all, not discrepancies in the e-way bill. They cannot touch it. When there is a discrepancy in the e-way bill, general penalty should be coming, but not 200% of the penalty of the goods. When there is no e-way bill, when there is no invoice, that is a clandestine removal, then 128 and 129 and 130 is going to apply the confiscation and detention. So they are doing detention in most of the cases illegal. You search the these provisions. There are n number of high court decisions everywhere. They have told it's an illegal detention. So this is a very good case for you to challenge the illegal detention. The time limit of appeal should be considered from DRC 07 order date or from the date of communication of rejection of the rectification order. So it is the time between DRC 07 and the rectification order. You will get a buffer, or you have to take base as a DRC 07 only. Can the appellate differ from when he had replied during the adjudication proceedings while filing an appeal? Yeah. So can I take a different view than what I had taken in adjudicating authority? Answer is no. So you have to look at what is that you are going for an appeal. So you are representing before an adjudicating authority. Sir, this is what my problem is. Solve. This is what my case is. You solve it because of so and so ground. And he has interpreted. Now, appellate forum is to look at whether there was an error in the interpretation done by the officer, because that should not be final. Somebody could be reviewing it. So when you are appealing it, you cannot put the officer in a position where you have not told him something and ask a new relief with the appellate authority. That is not the appellate authority is there. So you cannot take any new grounds which you are not taken before the adjudicating authority when you are going for the appellate authority. In my view, the rectification order rejected also can be appealed. It's a decision and it can be appealed. I see certain names, hands which has been gone up. Baki Babu, I don't know if they will be allowed to speak.
Okay, sir, I will allow one by one to speak, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, sir. I am Baki Babu. Actually,
Yeah,
under
Babu.
section 74,
Hmm.
DGCI given the notice because the ITC declined due to the retrospective of vendor GST registration cancelled by the department.
Hmm.
So, can we do any against files and appeal or any case laws are there for this kind of ITC
There-
decline?
There are
Decline.
certain things pending before the High Court, but
Yes, sir.
they are doing a retrospective deregistration is not a case for us to do it. So there are certain High Court rulings which is in your favor, and this is a good appealable order. You should appeal it.
Yes, sir. Can you say any case, sir?
You can text me. I'll send you the case law. Or
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I hope you noted my email ID. Otherwise, I can put it in the chat box now. So,
Okay, sir.
chat is turned off. I think Suresh Babu Garu is circulating my PPT in that last page. My email ID is there. You send me an email. I'll send you the relevant case laws.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, so this just to add one more scenario to Baki Babu question. See, when the authorities are cancelling the registration with retrospective effect, even for recently, there is a default in the filing the returns or non-payments. Your cases where you are finding, check out what those periods, the returns are already filed and the returns are appearing in the GST 1 and 3B status report, which is already filed and you are able to get already those transactions. They cannot deny your input tax credit.
Exactly. There is a small change in the law which has happened, sir. Initially, there was a provision of that 41, 42, 43 sections were there. So where there was this provision of GSTR 1, GSTR 2, GSTR 3. These were the thing 1A and 2A was there. So at that particular point of time, what they had envisaged is I am going to file GSTR 1, which is going to auto-populate in UMI's customer as GSTR 2A. Now, if there are certain transactions which I have not uploaded, I forgot to upload some mistake or whatever it is, you could upload that in your GSTR 2, which is going to come and sit in my GSTR 1A. And next month, it will automatically push into GSTR 1 and the circle gets complied. So at that point of time, they had given some provisional taking of this unmet credit, ITC, where they told even that condition has not been satisfied, you can provisionally take the credit and condition should satisfy later. But for some reason, they deferred all this operation of this section and later this was been deleted. So in that, there are few wordings which is creating that confusion of the taking the provisional, whether the condition should be applicable later or it should be condition as on date in taking the input tax credit is creating some confusion when you are reading this law in this particular context, because certain provisions got deleted, which was actually taking care of the earlier effect. But having said that, in my case, the day when I took input tax credit, the day it was reflecting in my GSTR 2A. When I took the credit, the moment it is reflecting in my GSTR 2A or 2B, as the case may be, that can happen only when he has a valid registration. He had issued an e-way bill. He had issued e-invoicing. He can do all these things if he had a valid registration only. Thereby, I took the credit. And within 20th, he also filed the returns. That means the tax was also been paid. I also filed on 20th, he also filed on 20th. Same day you got the tax with both of you. So I have made the compliance, everything as on the date of taking the input tax credit. Any event which happens later, my credit which I have earned as a right cannot be taken away. It is already there in my pocket. The moment it is there in my pocket, it is my money. It is no more your money. It is not provisionally kept in my pocket. But this is my money only. Provisionally, I am giving it to you. Condition is not fulfilled, you should give me to back. No, I have earned it because all the conditions are satisfied. Now you cannot take it back. So that is the logic on this, and that is a very good case for us to fight. Good, sir. I think we are at 6. I will leave it to you whether we need to take some more or close.
Sir, if your time permits, take another 3 members are there. We'll take the 3
Sure.
questions.
No worries. I can do that.
Mr.
Sudhir sir,
Good evening, sir.
am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
This is a specific question regarding blocked credit.
Yes, sir.
In our case, what happened during the years 2001 to 2021-22? So there are certain blocked credits are there, which we have never claimed in the GST or 3B.
Yes.
Now a notice has sent by the department saying that you have not reversed the blocked credit, so you pay the tax ITC, which you need to reverse. But in our case, we have never claimed and never reversed also.
Yes.
So in such case, what is the remedy, sir? What
You
kind
need
of
to.
remedy?
Yes. So what can be reversed is what is been claimed.
Yes, sir.
So you have to prove that you have not taken the credit.
Yes.
Rather, it is they have to prove that they have taken the credit only because it is there in my 2B.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that I have taken the credit. But unfortunately, what happens is that whether my 2B is more or 3B is more. Because of the summary total, there are certain actual vendors of mine were supposed to file 2B, they did not file in that period or whatever that the challenge was there. So my 2B could be lesser than my 3B. So department says, first you have taken a credit of 1 crore rupees, but in 2B you have only having or 2B is also having 99 or 1 crore only. They say 1 crore, entire 1 crore you have taken credit now. But what I am saying, no, sir, my actual 2B should have been 1 crore 10 lakhs.
Yes, sir.
I have
month-wise
1 crore 10
reconciliation.
lakhs, 10 lakh rupees of ineligible ITC I have removed, and I have availed only 1 crore. But how department will get to know? So thereby you have to give a line-wise reconciliation, saying that in this month I have taken, these are the amounts which I have taken as an input tax rate. It should exactly match your 3B. These are the things which I have taken. So in this period, whatever the entire 21-22 financial year you are talking about, you give all the 12 months and matching with 3B and say these are all the returns which they have taken, and you are blocked credit. You are telling I have taken the credit of car.
Yes,
you
sir.
show me where car is there in this. It's not there.
Okay.
That is one way of doing. Another way of doing is that you can give a chartered accountant certificate where a chartered accountant will say that I have verified the entire input tax credit from this period to this period. I have verified all the invoices which is made available to me, and I am hereby certifying that this credit was not taken.
Oh.
So if a chartered accountant is giving this certificate, this officer today may not agree, but when you go to the tribunal or higher forum, you are able to get it. And chartered accountant certificate also should be detailed. It should not be just one-liner certificate and all. They should clearly say that this was there. This is how the records were maintained. These are all the invoices I have checked. I have done every line item verification, and I have come to a conclusion. This is matching with what has been disclosed. This is the reconciliation, and thereby this is the amount of blocked credit which they have not taken at all.
Sir, just now, sir, I'm myself Brahmanandra Bhartam.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yesterday, I filed an appeal against the order which was passed under Section 74. We don't know whether I'm contesting like it's a 73 case, not a 74 case.
Yes.
If at all the order comes in the month of after June 30th, am I eligible to file 128A within?
Yes, sir. What 128A as one proviso, which says if the order has been converted from 74 to 73, within 6 months from the date of that order, you can go to 128A. So not only 30th June, let him give after 1 year.
That's my understanding, but I want to hear from you actually.
Yes, don't worry about it. And we are also wherever a lot of cases we are saying, sir, we don't want to contest. All that you give is 73 and we are going to settle it. Although some
Exactly.
cases we are good in merits, amounts are small, unnecessary litigating. So we are
Exactly.
pushing hard on very of the cases to make it under 73.
Okay, thank you.
But one catch is there. In some cases, when they are converting 74 to 73, that order time bars.
Okay.
You understood now? If it is a 74 notice given within the time period of giving 74, if they have
Yes.
given, if you convert that, then you have to read the order of
By the
74
time the
only as
73 time limit
73.
would have expired.
By the time limit of 73 is expired, forget
That
about
is what happened in my
128A.
case. That is what happened in
Forget
my
about
case.
forget about 128A. If you have paid any amount also, that will come back to you, refund.
Because
So
exactly that is case pertaining to 19.
because of that reason, the appellate authorities are not very inclined to convert 74
Convert
to
the order
73.
to 73.
Yeah. It's not that easy.
Exactly.
Many of the client will come, sir, sir, you 73 lo and sir, close this. Not that easy.
Exactly, sir. That's a good catch actually.
Best example is recent Facebook notices.
That
Facebook
reverse charge,
notices.
import of service.
Import of services. They are sending for 1718 last August 24. They
Sir, one
issue
last
left-hand
question.
notices,
Can I ask
progress
you?
notices.
Yeah, Mr.
One last question. One last
Yeah,
question. Can I ask you?
Brahmanand Ravar, yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Actually, there was a case, joint development agreement entered before the GST actually.
The joint development agreement, Suresh
Was
Garu
entered
told.
before GST.
Sir, joint development agreement, one full day I asked, sir, Suresh Babu Garu is considering that on what is that CA day.
ఏంటంటే JDA was entered in the year 2015, whereas the supplementary agreement was entered in 2018
My
and
view,
2019.
because the levy of service tax is already happened at that point of time.
174 2C.
Exactly. 124 2C says what is leviable under the erstwhile act, existing law, not taxable under this act.
But the point is, but here the
Huh.
catch is, the point of taxation with respect to JDA and with our circles and all are there saying the supplementary agreement is the point of taxation. The levy is in service tax.
No, sir.
But the charge collectibility in the service.
No, sir. In service tax, what they told, levy applies on joint development agreement. Point of taxation is at the time of supplementary agreement.
Exactly. Collection. You can collect only at the time of
collection was deferred, not the levy.
Exactly.
Levy was still at the time of that joint development agreement only because the 65 definition and section 65 of the Finance Act talked about the service provided or to be provided for a consideration. On the receipt of consideration, you have to pay. So joint development agreement, I'm giving you a built-up area against the development right.
Exactly.
Prior to introduction of GST only, you got a DA, GPA.
Exactly.
If required, you can sell that land also.
Exactly.
You have got that right already over the land. So consideration is realized in full. But considering the cash flow, considering the builder, they had deferred it at the time of supplementary.
Exactly.
So I am of the strong view, the moment your JDI is prior to introduction of the GST, no tax will come. Having said that, there are two advance ruling against us.
Yes.
One Vajra Infra and one that Bangalore and St. Patrick some thing is there, which is against us. They told the supplementary agreement is under GST, construction is done under GST, you have to pay. So that's the reason they are giving notices. So we have to fight it out.
But case is running the same lines. I am contesting it is by virtue of 174 2C also, it will not come. GST you cannot levy, and the service tax anyway, the time bar it is per time bar, you can't issue the service tax notice also, I was telling them.
So that
Thank
don't
you,
tell them at all. 174 2C not applies, that's all.
Exactly.
Sir, if you want, you go ahead and give notice under service tax, sir, no problem, you should tell. You should not tell you don't have an option. You are lost.
They are issuing a GST. They are issuing a huge demand around 14-15 crores demand of only tax.
Say that GST liability should not come. Service tax, if you want, you give, sir, no problem. And if they give service tax notice, then we will say it's time bar. We should not tell them. Why should we tell?
Yes, exactly. We should not educate them.
Awareness is no. You should give them a scope. Sir, government service tax sir, no problem. Leave it at that. They'll think, okay, I'll drop it here. I'll take service tax. They may think, I don't know.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Mr. Ankit, I think, is waiting. Once Ankit is done, we can close, I think.
Hi, sir. It was
Hi,
very
Ankit.
informative session, sir. Sir, actually, I think you've already answered, but let me just briefly tell you the situation. Actually, what has happened? There's a difference between 3B and 2A or 2B is what was the notice issued, and the client has replied saying that it because of the 2 months like March and April. So because of the there are 2 years involved. So he has claimed correctly, and that has been properly declared in GST and everything. But he has mentioned in his reply that whatever is excess claimed, he has reversed in subsequent year, which is wrong. Because that notice what is been sent, that is where department says department has compared 3B with 2A, and that has 2A and 2B, because of which this discussion or confusion has happened. So now it is in appeal. So now can I say that what was filed is correct? And because actually the filing is correct, it is matching with GSTR 2A, it is perfectly matching with GSTR 8A table also with 3B. There's no difference. But since he is already mentioned in the appellate, as in during adjudication proceeding, saying that instead of he's agreed that he has reversed in subsequent year, which is wrong. The fact is wrong. So now how to tackle this? Can we mention this in appeal? Because appeal
You should
again.
mention in the appeal. There is no doubt you should mention in the appeal. The appellate authority said this fact was not made known at the time of adjudication.
Okay.
But you have to tell this is the thing. He doesn't have a power to send it back. So it is his discretionary whether he has to consider or not. If he is not considering, you go to the tribunal. Tribunal will send it back to consider this, and you go there, take this that it was already reversed and get it done. It's a lengthy rule. Cannot do anything.
All right, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Okay. So that's it then.
Yeah.
Thank you all for the
Thanks a
patience
lot.
listening, and thanks HCA for giving me an opportunity to be here and share my thoughts. Thank you all.
Master, please give the vote of thanks, ma. Please.
Sir, thank you, sir, for this session. As we wrap up this insightful session, it's my privilege to extend a warm and heart vote of thanks on behalf of the entire SCS team. We express our sincere gratitude to Sudhir sir for delivering such a comprehensive and practical session. Sir, your presentation was not only informative but also engaging and thought-provoking. You addressed the practical challenges that professionals face on a daily basis, especially in light of the growing number of appeal orders now pending for tribunal. As professionals are dealing with changing GST rules and the challenges of real-world litigation, your practical approach and clear insights came at the just right time, sir. Thank you for not just sharing knowledge, but for helping us navigate the path ahead with confidence. And finally, to all our participants, thank you for your time, attention, and your active involvement. Your questions and engagement made the session even more valuable and relevant. We hope this session added value to your day-to-day practice and helped you feel a little more prepared to tackle the challenges ahead. Thank you once again, sir, Sudhir sir, and we look forward to welcoming you all to all future knowledge sharing sessions.
Thanks, sir. Thanks a lot. Bye. Bye all.